Star Navy officer Admiral James Stavridis, now former Supreme Allied Commander at NATO and a senior NBC News international security and diplomacy contributor. Admiral, this taking of Kyiv, the military planners tell us they believe it'll take another 24, 48 hours. But what does that look like, this massive capital city, taking it?
It's hard. This kind of urban warfare, if you are going up against an opponent who wants to fight, can be very, very challenging. Think what the U.S. went through, for example, trying to take Mogadishu in Somalia decades ago. Urban fighting is very complex, very difficult. We also went through it in Iraq in particular. So the Russians, if they encounter serious resistance, and I think they will, in this massive city, are in for a real fight. When
we've talked about all the movements, obviously, but based on the strategy that you've seen that the Pentagon has laid out on the part of the Russians, does anything surprise you? The Pentagon has said nothing they've seen surprises them.
An awful lot of it, Shep, looks like an Army War College paper, Invasion 101. This is what you do. It's a very conventional campaign. I will say one thing has surprised me, and it's that we have not seen Vladimir Putin use cyber to the degree that I think he could have done. In other words, I expected the Ukrainian power grid to go down. He has that capability. He's chosen not to do that. I think that's interesting. It may be the fact that he wants to find a way not to antagonize the Ukrainian population. But frankly, I think he's already lost that fight. If things start to go south for Russia, look for him to use cyber as an equalizer.
Well, the Pentagon has said this is but phase one, what we've already seen. Likely another phase happens overnight tonight. Might the move on Kyiv happen under darkness and without internet and without reporting? Just as you say, so not to spook the people and maybe not to have to run over so many of them.
Indeed. If you go back to 1939, when German tanks rolled into Poland, there were no video cameras. There was no internet. There was not 3 million people who could film every atrocity. That's not the case today. So look for Vladimir Putin to try and do whatever he can of his worst at night and under the cover of darkness and by cutting down access to the internet. That's why I think cyber is the medium to watch in the days ahead.
Admiral, before we go, the president of Ukraine has said in the last couple of hours that the enemy saboteurs, the Russian saboteurs, are already in Kyiv. How might the Russians, based on history and your experience, how might they decapitate, as they put it, the government? And what does that mean for the sitting president?
Well, the nightmare would be if President Zelensky were himself captured or killed, paraded into a jail cell. As we listen to Vladimir Putin over the last couple of days in his speeches, he's constructed this web of lies that Zelensky is a Nazi. In fact, Zelensky is Jewish, and his father fought, his grandfather fought in the Soviet army against the Nazis. So a real nightmare, Shep, would be if Putin were able to capture him using some kind of fifth column and then put him into some kind of kangaroo court trial. The United States government, I know, is doing all we can to aid the Zelensky government to keep them out of the hands of Vladimir Putin.
Admiral James Stavridis, many thanks.